Whenever I'm looking for inspiration for a good idea, I think of what a millennial hipster would like to do as a small business, and I do the exact opposite. For instance, opening a coffee shop and combining it with a plant shop. Putting all my allergies into the one thing that I love more than anything. But we're gonna combine a coffee shop and a plant shop in a way that actually makes sense and is gonna make you a lot of money and be very successful, unlike these plant and coffee shops that are popping up all over. It's just a matter of time before the plant and coffee shop run is over. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take triads, very simple triads, major and minor. We're gonna do this in 3 keys, and we're gonna put the open strings on top to kind of talk about how maybe you can get a better idea of how chords work together, maybe switch in and out of keys a little bit easier. But it's super simple because you only need 2 shapes, right? Here, this is a major shape, and here is a minor shape, okay? I'm just hitting the lowest 3 strings on the guitar for what I'm doing with the fretted parts of this, okay? This is gonna be the coffee shop. We got iced coffee, we got hot coffee, we got cold brew, we got your lattes, major and minor, whatever you need. And then we're gonna add the plants on top, okay? Basically, the G, B, and E strings, if you play them together, that's just an E minor chord. So essentially, when I play this chord right here, a C major 7, you may have seen it before, I'm really playing a C major triad and an E minor triad, one after another, okay? Now you can separate them a little bit if you want, or you can play them together. Here's all as one. Let's separate them. Coffee, plants, coffee. Why am I so mad at this? Is this like so authentically angry at plant and coffee shops sweeping the nation right now? Now the beautiful thing about this is we can use all the chords in this key and still keep that E minor on top. 3 different keys have E minor as a chord in it. It can be either the 3 chord in the key of C, C, D, E. It can be the 2 chord in the key of D, D, then E, or it can be the 6 chord in the key of G, G, A, B, C, D, E. Don't worry about that if it doesn't make sense right now. It's gonna make sense by the end of this lesson because we're gonna go through each of them and how we can do all of them. So first, I'm just gonna show you the shape and then we're gonna run it down. We're gonna do key of C first, all right? So there's the shape. Think of this 3-3-2 as a major triad, the root note being where the A string is fretted. Its 5th being below it, so an inversion technically, the bass note is actually not the root note, is gonna be on the E string. And then the 3rd, the major 3rd, is gonna be on the D string, right? So 3-3-2. Now if I go 2 frets higher, I go from a C, C sharp, D, minor. In the key of C, D is a minor chord. So we're just gonna flatten the 3rd, root note, 5th, minor 3rd, okay? So we have 2 minor chords working together right now, which creates a very interesting sound that maybe you wouldn't have discovered if you're just kind of playing, you know, D minor and E minor and stuff like that. But we can track all the chords in this key just by going shape 1, shape 2, 2 frets higher, that's E, shape 2, fret higher, F, major, 2 frets higher, G, major, 2 frets higher, A, minor, okay? So think of where I'm doing this, try to follow along. C, major, D, minor, E, minor, F, major, G, major, A, minor. And it's like, oh, it's all well and good, but now I'm just another millennial hipster that owns a coffee plant shop. What am I supposed to do? Way better than this because you can move these around and play pretty much any chord progression you ever want to do, but now you can do it in a much more interesting way. So get these under your fingers first, and then we're gonna start moving them around as numbers. And while you're practicing that, I can tell you about the sponsor of today's lesson, TrueFire. Have you ever heard of TrueFire lessons? Because I have heard of them, but I haven't really looked into them. So they reached out to me and they're like, hey, would you mind sponsoring a video talking about our service for a little bit? I'm like, all right, cool, I'll check it out. So here's what sold me on it. There are like tons and tons of lessons from all sorts of instructors that you get when you have access to the TrueFire site. I have an affiliate link in the description if you guys are interested. But you can sort by instructors. Like, check out how many instructors they have. And for those of you who watch the channel, you may know that my favorite living guitar player is a guy that goes by the name of Keb Mo. Huge Keb Mo fan. Basically, all of my kind of Travis picking instincts come from trying to emulate Keb Mo songs. I even did like a slide guitar lesson on his song Am I Wrong a couple years ago. This has Keb actually teaching his own songs in such an awesome way. I took his entire class, I checked it out, and they have like so many different camera angles that it's insane. I would have learned that song so much easier because it has like a tri-view camera thing that has the sheet music and the tabs that play along in real time with it. Just for that package of lessons alone, I think it's worth it. But they have like thousands of more videos. So check out TrueFire. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever used the service. I have learned a lot from it. I'm always continuing to learn. And that Keb Mo thing just really, really impressed me. Like, worth the money right there. Plus, you get Tim Pierce has courses on there. Like, just look at the Malmsteen has courses on. It's crazy. Check out TrueFire if you fancy. Affiliate link in the description. So now that you've gotten these under your fingers in that very brief and entertaining ad read that I just did, we can number them and start making them into songs, right? So there's the one chord in C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's start just there, okay? Now, again, the one chord in the key of C is C major. We're doing it now as a C major 7, or you can think of it as the one chord and then adding a little E minor flare on top of it, right? So let's switch up. Let's go 1 to 3 to 2 to 4 and try to make a little kind of jam out of it. Again, I think that sounds awesome. It almost sounds like you're in kind of like an open tuning. People be like, oh, what tuning is that? And you just go, standard. And they're blown away. Oh my gosh. But we can kind of go above and beyond that. So let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. And remember, it's just like the intervals of the major scale. We start with a note, or a chord, or an extended chord. Whole, whole, half. Whole, whole. Then we can kind of do another little minor thing if we want. Whole, half. We're gonna skip the 7 chord because nobody uses that anyways. Go to TrueFire if you want to learn more about the 7th scale degree. Diminished. I know what it is. I'm just telling you to go there, check it out. But we can do that using all these chords in the key of C. And now you can do maybe like more popular songs, like a 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of C. So many songs are, if you've ever seen like one of those YouTube videos where it's like, learn 10,000 songs with this one chord progression, it's probably a 1, 5, 6, 4, right? Like U2 with or without you, Journey Don't Stop Believing. 1, 5, 6, 4 in C, we do like this. 1, the 5 is G, right? So we could just go to a regular G. But we're gonna go from this one all the way to this. 6, 4, 1, 5, 6, 4. And all of a sudden you have a very kind of interesting creative way to play, you know, what could be just a basic C, G, A minor, F. That's just one key. We're gonna do this exact same thing in 2 other keys, right? Let's go to the people's key, the key of G, all right? How this is different is G has an F sharp instead of an F natural. So some of the chords they share, but some of the chords are different because anything that had an F in the key of C now has an F sharp in the key of G. E minor is not one of those chords. E minor is just an E, a G, and a B. There's no F, so the fact that we have an F sharp now instead of an F doesn't affect that E minor on top, which is why this works now as the 6th chord in the key of G, which now can give you more of a minor Aeolian vibe because it's the 6th degree in the key of G, right? So now let's run through those same chords, well, the chords in the key of G with the same shapes, right? In fact, I want to start actually where we did before with C major, but now we're thinking of this as the 4 chord in the key of G, G, A, B, C, all right? So we have a C major, now we have a D major. D major is the 5 chord in the key of G. We still have that E minor, which we've got the E minor triad with the fretted shape, and also the open one, so such a powerful E minor. 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. So C major, D major, E minor, G, A, and now you got this new one, B, which again is 14, 14, 12. Now maybe you have like a shorter scale guitar and it's harder to get up to this spot. Cool thing is, if you want, you can just go to like a B power chord or something. And then still keep the E on top. So I'm just getting, you know, like 2 on the A string, 4 on the D string, or I can get 2 on the E string too, to make it more ominous. But now we can do a 1, 5, 6, 4 in the key of G, using the same idea, but just slightly different locations. So now the 1 chord is gonna be lined up with the 10th fret here. 1, 5, 6, 4. And then now it resolves on the G, okay? So what do we say the other key was, where E minor is a chord? It happens to be the 2 chord in the key of D, right? Just a whole step back from E is D. So now D is gonna be our root, kind of center, but then putting that E minor on top of it. So we're hearing a lot of the 2nd degree in the key of D, right? You could say like this is like a Dorian maybe sound if we go major, minor, minor, major, major. This is the first time we've had A major in this game. And then we can go, we still have that B. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back to 1. If you want to use that lower B minor too. However you want to use it. Mix and match it with chord shapes that you already know. It still sounds really cool. But those are 3 different keys that you can use this kind of trick with. Or, you know, maybe use a capo if you want to do it with like another key that we haven't talked about here. Now, what I think is really cool to do is to maybe take a little bit of what we talked about in these 3 keys and combine them into maybe a super key, right? I like to borrow chords from other keys. This is like a great opportunity to do something like that. Like, even if I'm playing the key of G chords, I really like the sound of this A major with the E minor on top. Again, this note right here, this C sharp would not normally be in the key of G, but because it sounds kind of cool, let's mess around with it, right? Let's go key of G. So we got C to D. This is just a 4 to 5 in the people's key, the key of G. And there's the 1 chord. Major 2 chord, what? And then, you know, it's like, at that point, it's like ambiguous as to what key you're really in. You could kind of go higher and higher. B minor. So what I just did there is I took what was in the key of G, the 3 minor chord, and instead of going 2 minor to 1, home, I'm taking this 2 minor and I'm making it major. And I think the cool thing about that, even without the E minor on top, it works. I think it's like a cool sound, right? Especially when you're maybe descending. So one of my personal things to do is like a songwriting standpoint, is kind of have an ambiguous nature between that 2 chord being, is it major, is it minor, how am I kind of going about it? So let's firmly establish that we're in the key of G. So we've got 1, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. And we said all these work, but maybe in my mind I've already switched to the key of D. And I can pivot on that C. Maybe I want to go back into the key of C. 3 minor, 2 minor. Oh my gosh. And what's cool is by having this E minor triad essentially on top of everything, it acts as like a binding agent, almost like a glue, to really be able to jump in and pivot out in between those 3 keys in which it is a chord. So I think it's a very easy way to introduce yourself into borrowing chords from different keys, or maybe having an ambiguous nature of a song, trying to like switch and, you know, shift the tonal center and where it resolves and stuff like that. Just because, like I said, that binding agent is just the open 3 strings of the guitar. And then if you want to do it in different keys, you can just put a capo on, like, you know, the 1st fret. Then all of a sudden now you can use those same chords. Now you're in C sharp. Or am I in C sharp, right? A lot of fun can be had just by messing around with 2 super simple shapes, running them back and forth, triad on top of triad, plant on coffee crime. I didn't know that I was like allergic to certain plants until I went to these plant and coffee shops. And maybe I'm not even allergic to the plant. Maybe it's some kind of like unholy union that the aroma somehow combines by the time it gets to me. Anyways, enough of that. Get to TrueFire. Sign up for your TrueFire account. Check out the Keb Mo thing. They even have like the player's view where you can put yourself through the eyes of Keb Mo and how he sees it. And it's like, that's awesome, along with all your other favorite players. So check it out. Like I said, if you fancy, hit that affiliate link. And if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section or the website. I'll talk to you all soon.